Hello everyone. How are you? I hope you've been fine, and I hope that most of the things that you've learned so far is really, helping out with your work with God. Today I would be explaining or trying to share while you're working with God, how to build yourself and get better with your work with God. So as you work with God, storms will come, trials will come. I want to say that when the trials come rushing in, obviously we know now that we should stay with God. But even before you got close to God, trials were coming, temptations were coming. You were going through stuff. You would call it life trials and roughness and all that. But really, the trials will come more when you start working with God, really. And when that storm comes, be aware that God allowed the storm for a purpose. And the reason why I think he allowed the storm is to take you to the next level. There is growth in it. There is success coming out of it, and you're going to be better than where you're coming from, really. And so I'm going to look at Genesis 45, 5 and 8. It explains a little bit about storm. And 45, let's see, Genesis 45, 45, 5 and 8. And here it says, it was really God who sent me ahead of you to save people's life. That is when Joseph was trying to explain to the brothers that it was not them who actually sold him off, and he felt like it was a lot of stress when they sold him off, and he felt like wickedness, but the point that he was trying to bring out in Genesis 45, 5 and 8 is that God was the one that actually allowed the brothers sell him off. So what I'm trying to say is that whatever storm you're going through, is it health storm, is it financial storms, is it depression, whatever it might be, when you're going through that storm and trial and strength and stress, you need to hold on to God. You need to hold on to what God says, that you are going to get out of it. And God allows a storm come your way because he knows that you are able and you've got the strength to overcome, because he said in 1 Corinthians 10:13 that he's going to give you the strength to overcome and he's going to give you a way out. So staying with God, really, when you're going through storm, is all you need. I've gone through a lot of things, really. I've gone through a lot of trials since I began my work with God. And some of the storms, I break down, I cry, but I'm not afraid. I trust God all the way, because when I go through trials and storms, I remember a lot of his words, and I start speaking the word. You start speaking the word, believe while you're speaking, and it's going to be fine. And there is something that while I started working with God, I decided to do, which is have a time with God every day. I mean, we should pray as much as possible. You should pray every now and then when the Holy Spirit leads you, when you feel like, just pray. But it would be nice if you map out time when you would have a one-on-one time with God. And for me, I have this thing that I've started doing. I create a space for where I can have me time with God. The Holy Spirit sometimes chooses when and where he wants to speak to you. From my experience, I noticed that the Holy Spirit speaks more to me in my bathroom when I'm in the shower or something. I just hear. And so I decided that my bathroom is going to be my throne room, where I will have my devotion every morning with God and pray and speak in tongues and then wait for God to respond. Because when you're working with God and after praying, please wait for God to speak. God is a talking God. He speaks. But you have to be patient. For me, I don't care how long it takes before he speaks to me. When I really want to hear from God concerning a situation or something, I go in the presence of God, put up that worship song, pray, speak in tongue, and wait for God to speak. He does speak, really. And remember that communication is a two-way thing. You're not just going to be talking, and then the other party is not talking. I mean, in real life, really, when you're talking, you expect someone to respond. So God responds, God speaks. And what we should focus on this part of working with God is when you get a space, get a space in your house, wherever you feel is comfortable, just get a space and then get your writing pad and paper so that you can put things down. Habakkuk 2:2 says, write the vision down, write whatever God is telling you, write it down. And then you choose a devotional time, and then you pray always, speak in tongues, and be diligent about it. I mean, don't just practice it one day and then, okay, that's it, I'm not hearing yet. No, be diligent.